The pace of life is definitely slower here, which is one thing I really enjoy. Like when I lived in the US, I was very much into like we have to work all the time. Hi, my name is Anna Muckerman. I'm from Maryland, USA, but I've been living in Nice, France for 5 years.
29-year-old Anna is one of over 5 million US Americans living abroad. Now based in Nice, she shares what drew her to life on the French Riviera, how she's been able to connect with locals, and the French quirks she's had to adjust to. France is a top destination for Americans with over 100,000 of them living there. While Paris attracts the most, Nice is becoming an affordable alternative. But what made Anna want to leave home in the first place?
I think what really pushed me to take the step when I was an adult was when I went to university in the US and I saw how work culture was so important. And I just realized like that doesn't really align with my values, and that's not really who I wanted to become.
After journalism school, she worked as an au pair in Austria, then as a teaching assistant in northeast France, where she met her now husband from Nice. Moving for love eventually helped her paperwork. Today, they run a video production company together.
I had that teaching assistant visa for a year, then the visa was extended because of COVID, and then I ended up getting married, and that allowed me to have a long-term visa.
A growing number of Americans are obtaining long-term French residency. In 2024, over 13,000 received their first permit. For Anna, it's Nice's slower daily rhythm that stands out most, seen at open-air markets where locals take their time choosing fresh seasonal produce. While Anna was drawn to this lifestyle, it did also take getting used to.
Sometimes, it's frustrating if you want to go to a store and you get there and all of a sudden there's this paper sign on the door that's like, we're closed for vacation. But you also appreciate the fact that people can take a vacation.
The French value work-life balance with their 35-hour work week and at least 5 weeks paid vacation. Meanwhile, in the US, employees average just 10 days of paid holiday. Still, there are things Anna misses from home.
I think that life in the US is very much based around convenience. Like everywhere you go, there's a giant parking lot for your car, there's air conditioning, pharmacies or stores are open late, and so I do miss some of those conveniences for sure.
The French way of life is also reflected in living costs. The minimum wage here is 1,400 euros per month after tax, which according to experts is enough to cover costs like basic housing, healthcare, groceries and transport in Nice.
Even with the lower salary, people are still able to enjoy more, like go to restaurants, go on vacation, do day trips, and just things that I think somebody with a reduced salary in the US wouldn't be able to enjoy as much as somebody in France.
When it comes to community, Anna has made both international and French friends through stand-up comedy and expat groups. She says being able to speak French has been key to truly feeling at home. She studied the language at university and now even performs stand-up in French.
Moi, je suis arrivée en France avec la base de français que tu apprends à l'école, c'est-à-dire des phrases qui semblent bien mais que les Français n'utilisent jamais, comme pardon, désolé, excusez-moi.
Doing stand-up in French, it's definitely a challenge. I had a joke the other day that I was going to tell on stage, and then I told it to my husband. He was like, you totally have the wrong words, like it doesn't make any sense. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize. So I definitely have to pay more attention to what I'm doing. But at the same time, it's a really good exercise, and it's allowed me to improve my French and also to make more friends with French speakers.
But even as Anna integrates linguistically, her friends still notice small tells that give away her American side.
You're very open, very you want to get to know people, you're interested. I think French people don't have that per se.
I would say it's her humor. I think in the US, humor has been around, comedy is much more ancient and rooted in culture, and so I saw her start doing comedy and stand-up and already have this crazy level.
Being American in France means adapting not only to the language and more laid-back lifestyle, but also to subtle, unspoken social norms.
French people are known for greeting each other with la bise, which is the kisses that you give on the side of the cheek. Personally, as an American, I don't really like having to get that close into people's space and give them kisses. But at the same time, you know, French people, sometimes they feel uncomfortable giving you a hug. For them, that feels like an invasion of their personal space. So I just adapt and do the best I can.
But for Anna, these differences are part of what makes her life here worthwhile.
Life in the south of France and in Nice is not always a fairy tale, but I'm much happier here and I wouldn't trade it for anything.